tonight. But speaking of what's happening in the NFL, Alex Smith officially called it a career after he basically almost got killed on the NFL field just a couple years, 2019, I believe it was. 37 years old. He has officially retired from the NFL. Earlier this season, earlier this offseason, he did say that he wanted to try to start and compete on a different NFL team after being released by the Washington football team. But Wyatt, he has officially retired from the NFL. What kind of career do you think Alex Smith has had?
I don't want to necessarily call it a Hall of Fame career. I feel like a lot of people jump the gun whenever they see that somebody has retired after a long career. And, even if they've overcome certain things like Alex Smith, I think a lot of people like to jump the gun and say Hall of Fame. Not taking anything away from Alex Smith. I think he had an awesome career with the 49ers. He had an awesome career with the Kansas City Chiefs for a short stint. And then also a great career with the football team for a very short stint as well. And what he overcame was absolutely incredible, from being told that he'd never walk again, from being told that they were going to amputate his leg, from being told that he'd never, I watched his retirement video or whatever today, and him kind of talking about he was worried that he was never going to be able to take a walk with his wife again. Yeah. He was worried about never going, and playing sports in the yard with his kids again. So, I mean, it's a sad thing to see him go, but at the same time, it's really cool. He closed off his retirement video with, "My kids don't know what's coming for him in the backyard sports games." So I'm sure he's going to be balling out in the backyard. But it's cool, and I'm really happy for him that he was able to close out like this. He was able to come back and prove everybody that he could still do this, and he did a really good job. And I gotta say, this is probably, he overcame possibly the toughest thing that anybody's ever had to overcome in NFL history with his injury. If not the toughest, then it's easily top 3. So hats off to Alex.
Yeah, well, anytime you overcome near-death experience, I mean, you are definitely at the top of the comeback list there. But Tori, what are your thoughts about the Alex Smith comeback and just his overall career?
Well, first off, Wyatt, did you watch his career in San Francisco? They had a bust label all over him when he was in San Francisco. He had a decent last year in San Francisco. San Francisco was a train wreck while he was there. Once he went to Kansas City, his career started to really take off. He really blossomed into a really good quarterback. And I feel bad because I think it was in his 4th or 5th year he went to Kansas City. So he basically had 4 years of his career wasted before he went to Kansas City and became a pretty good quarterback in this league. Again, right. Yeah, he went to the Washington football team, and I do believe it was 2018. He missed all of 2019 and came back only in part of 2020. Because there again, they told him, "We might have to take your leg." Him and the Teddy Bridgewater injuries are just they're a testament to medicine today, where they were like, "We thought we were gonna have to take your leg off, but good news, we don't." I mean, yeah. I guess that'd be good news for anybody, but
but just looking at Alex Smith's career post, near-death experience there, guys, he was 5-1 as a starter last year with the Washington football team. Yes, the football team had a great defense. They had a pretty good young core on the offensive side as well, but he basically single-handedly catapulted them into the playoffs, and for them to kind of just part ways with him, just after that, it kind of upsets me a little bit here. Just why would he put his life on the line for you just to be hey, sorry, I don't want to play with you? It seemed dumb to me. Tori, what are your thoughts on that?
He probably had a really big deductible to meet from his insurance. I'm just kidding. No, I'm. At the time, there again, the time comes for every player. Father Time waits for nobody. At this point, he's like, you know what? I proved it. I did what I wanted to do. I came back. I showed myself. I showed everybody, look, this is what you can do if you put your mind to it. He walked away, in my mind, at the right time. You can walk. You still have your leg. There's no, tomorrow's never guaranteed in the NFL. Right. There again, it may have been that nobody was even calling. They're interested, not even in saying, hey, you want to come, as possibly our backup. No, the competitor in him probably still wanted to play. The competitor still wants to start. He probably wasn't going to get that opportunity. He said, you know what? if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. I'm going to hang it up. And to me, that if you're an athlete, that is absolutely the right call to make.
What?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree 100%. You know, if it's time, then it's time. And, you know, there was nothing really left that he had to prove. He had proved everything he needed to. You know, I'm sure he'd like to close his career out with a Super Bowl. That's the way everybody would love to. But at the same time, you know, if it's time to hang it up, then it's time to hang it up. And, you know, he had kind of talked about, you know, I don't mean to keep bringing up the video or anything, but, you know, he kind of talked about in that video that, you know, that football had done a lot for him, that whenever he put the foot, he had no intentions of worrying about football whatsoever with this injury until they put a football in his hands. Like, he said that overnight I went from, I was not worried about football at all. I was worried about being with my wife and my kids and, you know, being alive. Then I was worried about walking with them again. Then I was worried about, you know, running with them. Football was the farthest thing from my mind. And then they said that, or he said that he put a football in his hands and it was like everything changed. It was like the drive that football had instilled in him as a kid to make it to the NFL and all that had just reinstilled in him that he was going to do this. He was going to overcome this and get back to that top level. So it's an incredible story. It's really awesome. It's something that years from now they're going to make documentaries on and talk about for a very long time. He's done some really cool stuff in his career. And like I said, I'm happy for him that he was able to come back and then choose to retire. The injury didn't choose for him. I was very happy for him in that sense.
Right, and yeah, and just to add to your point there, Wyatt, they already do have a 30 for 30 on that. I believe it's called like number 11 or something to that effect. It is on ESPN Front Plus, so fair warning, it is very, very graphic. Like if you have a weak stomach, just like I do, be sure to turn away when they actually show the picture of the lake, like the first time. It is
nasty.
Very, very gross.
I kept waiting. Buck, did you watch the video or no?
Watch the documentary on it.
No, the video for his retirement.
No, I did not.
I literally, and Wyatt, you can probably back me up. I kept waiting for Whitney Houston. I will always love you to come on as it ended.
Yeah,
it was just that kind of tribute, like saying,
right,
like goodbye, you know.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, though, I mean, one of the things that really stood out to me was like he said that he wanted to pursue a different team for a chance to start, and then kind of just like out of the blue, like he's like, nah, I'm going to retire. So I'm going to bring up this comment by Drew here, just because he basically asked my question for me, but with like a statement form. Do you think he is going to be in the broadcast booth? Like maybe that's why he called it quit, and you know maybe he can make more money in the broadcast booth or take care of his family like a little bit better.
I say that we give him a call and offer him a job here at the Man Hour, the best sports radio show on the planet. I mean, I think that's what we should do, is just offer him a job here.
Drew, or, not Drew. Corey, I'm sorry.
I mean, if we can get Alex Smith, I mean, we can offer him like a hoodie and maybe a hat,
yeah,
and free airtime.
Yeah, I mean,
who wouldn't jump at that?
Exactly.
I mean, he made plenty of money in his career. Come on, come join our team.
So Tor, you proposed this question earlier. Was Alex Smith worth a first round draft after watching his career play out? A first overall draft pick.
The first overall pick. And I've thought about this all day long, and I go back and forth on it. Because there again, you watch his first couple of years in San Francisco, and it was atrocious. It was bad. They called him every name under the sun. He can't complete a pass. He's inaccurate. You know, all he does is throw interceptions, da-da-da-da-da. As soon as he moved on, though, he was one of those players that moved on to a different team, got into the right situation, and all he did was win. That's all he did. He made the Chiefs good again.
Yeah.
You know, he essentially mentored Pat Mahomes for his first year, and they said, hey, we're going to go with Pat. You didn't hear him complain about it. You didn't hear nothing. He said, all right, great. He moved on. I don't think overall, is he worth the number one pick? Probably not, because you always want that generational talent. You want that Peyton Manning, you know.
Or the guy that should have won at 1 overall.
Right.
Who is that?
That would be Aaron Rodgers.
Let me ask you this
Greg,
question. Would Aaron Rodgers have the career that he is having at Green Bay if he would have been number one overall pick?
There's no way. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think there is. I think Aaron Rodgers' talent is just incredible. I mean, do I think that he would have had the exact same career? No, possibly not. But do I still think he'd have been a Hall of Famer? Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Hall of Famer either way. You could put him on any team, and he'd have been a Hall of Famer.
No.
There is something to be said about sitting behind somebody for 3 or 4 years and learning from a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but Brett didn't really teach him at all. Brett just kind of, I mean, he did in a sense.
He observed and he watched. The thing is, though, is you look at quarterbacks that have sat, their success rate when they do start is way better than somebody that gets tossed into the fire.
I'm sure.
Steve McNair sat in Houston and played sporadically for his basically first 2.5 years.
Tom Brady.
And he went out and he had a great career. Yeah, Brady though actually got thrown in as a rookie halfway through, and Bledsoe got hurt.
He still got to sit though. He
did.
He will not be like the person that we're going to talk about after the break here, Trey Lance. He's probably not going to be thrown into a fire on a bad team. So
right, and there's something to be said for that. When you can learn, and there is not the pressure on you to go out and produce, it is a completely different situation for you.
Do you think Alex would have had Aaron's career? Switch roles. Do you think Alex would have had Aaron's career if they switched roles?
Yes.
And like I think he would still have the same career, like he would have probably been mediocre his first couple years. Well, actually he wouldn't have played his first 3 or 4 years, right?
No.
And then like he would have came out in the Chiefs form. I don't think he would have survived in Green Bay, to be honest, just because the biggest knock on Alex Smith was his arm strength, and I think you have to have a strong arm to play up in Lambeau Field.
No, because if you look at the offense that McCarthy ran, it was a lot of underneath, it was a lot of quick slants, stuff like that. That's why Randall Cobb just tore it up for those years, because we would go underneath. We don't chuck the ball deep a ton. He checks down a lot, yeah. But we had great tight ends. We had at that time he would have had Jermichael Finley, he would have had Randall Cobb, he would have had Jordy, he would have had Greg Jennings, he would have had James Jones, he would have had all these weapons that he did not have. Not even when he went to Kansas City, he didn't have that kind of.
He still had some good weapons, though. I mean, Vernon Davis is one of the all-time great tight ends. I mean, he had some decent weapons out there. Frank Gore was in his prime at running back. He had a good offensive line. I mean, they made some good playoff runs while he was there. They just never won anything.
One wide receiver they had.
Oh, well, now I'm not going to be able to off the top of my head. I will find some, though, and get some. Off the top of my head, I will not be able to name them. But
they had Crabtree.
Yes, Michael Crabtree.
And in your defense, Wyatt, the year that Alex Smith lost his starting job, I believe they were 12-0 when he got his concussion. And then Kaepernick came in and quote lit it up, and he never got his starting job back. And they eventually did go to the Super Bowl that year. And I think with Alex Smith at quarterback at the helm in San Francisco that year, they would have won the Super Bowl.
They would have never beat Green Bay and Lambeau, though.
Yeah, they would have.
No, they went to.
No, Colin Kaepernick was the reason.
Kaepernick tore us up.
Kaepernick literally killed us. That one play where he had that.
Thank you for checking out that clip. If you're interested in watching the full show, the link is in the description. Click on it, hit that like button, share it with a couple friends, and as always, Man Hour Nation, rise up.